to reach their minds, they have to know I care about their hearts. And the people who care about our kids more than anybody are their parents. And so to let them know that I care about their children, I care about what we're doing in our classroom, and I want them to know about what's going on here too. I've heard from parents that they want information about what's happening in class. One of the neat things in a Montessori school is we have a lot of different kinds of materials, and so parents aren't necessarily aware of what the millions cube is, or when we make equilateral triangles, they may not remember that from school. So I want a picture that will give the parents a snapshot of what we did here, or if they showed it to their child, then the child would be able to explain what is happening in the image. The goals, as I'm thinking about what I want to say in an email to parents, if they're parents who don't read it or don't have email access, anything I give them is going to be important but not essential. The second thing I think about is, what do the parents want to know that the children did well this week? What are we learning about? What made the children excited? What would parents say, oh, that's a new way to think about it. Let's talk about that at the dinner table. So here's the picture I took this morning about the lesson we did about equilateral triangles. And so my first step is to just email it to myself. So here it is in my inbox, the image that I just sent myself. And I'm going to forward it and take out all of the things that make it look like I forwarded it. And then I'm going to add the distribution list, which I call all parents. And one of the things that's really important is I include it as a BCC, blind copied, so that I'm not sharing private information with anybody. I also include the principal and my assistant. I'm actually going to send the email to myself, and that way email addresses are protected. Sometimes if there's some snappy phrase from the week, I'll include that as an attention getter, but it can be as simple as our week. And then I'm going to talk about really briefly what happened in the picture. Sometimes I'll define things for parents. I try to limit it for myself and for parents to make it something that's easy and manageable to read. One thing too as a teacher is it helps keep me accountable, that if I haven't written anything about math for that week, parents are going to wonder what's going on with math. I want to make sure that I've targeted different curriculum areas so that I know I'm hitting everything that children need and they're getting what they deserve based on what the Common Core addresses. So I'm thinking about what can the connection be between home and family, and things that possibly the parents already know about, so that they can say, what did you learn about paragraphs today? And parents have some background knowledge about paragraphs, and there might be a conversation about that. One of the things that I've noticed that comes out of the emails is I think it's much easier for parents to click reply rather to initiate an email to me. So sometimes the email doesn't even have anything to do with what I've said, but they said, my child came home and said this was troubling him, or he's not feeling good about school this week. It's me speaking to the parent, but then it gives them a chance to email back with what's important to them. It makes me feel like I'm being approachable. The other thing I've noticed is during conference time, one of the parents said, well, I know what you've done in class, but what are you doing next? I want to see where my daughter's going between now and the end of the year, so as these things come up, if I know they're coming, I can talk to her about those things. So I gave him a copy of all the topics we cover in 3rd grade math. He said, as I'm retiling the floor, I can talk about area. Well, that's great. We haven't talked about area yet, but if she's got some background knowledge about that really helps her in school with her progress. Those are two of the ways that I've seen that parents really benefit from the emails and are able to respond back to me with the questions and things that they have. I'm going to talk about the other perspective now, that as a parent of a child at Jason Lee, her teacher has emailed us with information about what's going on in class. And one of the things that he said was they're going to read the novel The Giver, which I used to teach when I taught 5th and 6th grade. And it's one of my favorite books. And I had a copy of Lois Lowry's Newberry speech, the audio of it, because I used to teach it, and I was able to respond with, hey, would you be interested in this as a supplement? He had no idea it even existed. So I was able to share with him the other direction to have a positive impact on his students. So I've seen it go both ways, both as a teacher and as a parent, that when we collaborate together, things are so much more meaningful for the students. One of the things that's really important to me is, the time that I spend in this is an investment. It may not seem like it pays off immediately with a better test result next week. But I know that the time I'm spending to engage my parents and make them my partners is really what I'm after, that we are working together for the benefit of their child. And the more the parents know about what's going on at school, and when I know things that are going on at home, we can all work together. If I'm having a concern about your child, what can we do together? And I think the emails try to help to build that positive climate about what I'm trying to do here in the classroom, and I want to work with the parents so that at the end we can all celebrate the child's success. I came up with the idea of emailing parents when I was thinking about all that information that comes home from school on the first day. It's completely overwhelming, and I started thinking, what could I do to make it easier on my parents? Some of it was too, I knew that the kids would have certain questions like, are we going to have snack on the first day? Because my kids are used to having snack. And so I thought, well, if parents have this information ahead of time, then they'll be able to address the questions as the children are asking and preparing for the first day of school. So I went into TAC and I'm to create an email list in order to send some of that information ahead of time. Now I sent it all home in hard copy later, just in case some parents didn't get it or didn't have time to read it. But I wanted to kind of front load what they were going to be getting that first day of school. And it has a place for email addresses. I also ask for phone numbers to call during the day for good news, because I think sometimes we forget that parents want to hear the good news too, that when the phone rings and it's the school, it's almost always bad news, so we try to call for good things. So I'm very clear about this is why we're collecting your phone number for during the day. I also ask parents when they're available in the evening, so when I'm scheduling conferences or we're scheduling evening events, what's the earliest parents are available, and that's good information too. I think the other thing is, being in a digital age now, we get so much information coming at us that email has become more and more common, and so wanting to keep up with the way that most people are at least connected to, that's another moving from the paper into an electronic form helps to keep us updated and moving on the same path that our parents and our children are.